I'm with Elana Watson from Christian Friends of Magen David Adom. Now, Elana, what is Christian Friends of Magen David Adom?
Well, Christian Friends of Magen David Adom is a platform between Christians and Jews to bring aid to Magen David Adom, which is Israel's emergency organization.
So are you linked very similar with the British Red Cross?
We are. We became a member of the British Red Cross, or the Red Cross in general, in 2006. But we are Israel's national emergency rescue organization.
Yeah. And when were you started as Christian Friends of Magen David Adom, and why were you started?
Why were we started? Well, our founder, Norman Feingold, he is a British Orthodox Jewish man. He passed away, may his memory be for a blessing, just a few months ago. He really saw an opportunity to heal the damage in relationship that has happened over the course of years between Jews and Christians by providing a platform where Christians can bless Israel by helping to save lives. So it was his vision, and that happened about 10 years ago, and then we started as a desk in Magen David Adom headquarters, and now we are our own non-for-profit society for Christians in Israel for Magen David Adom.
And do you have branches all around the world?
There are about 20 Magen David Adom societies around the world. There are 2 Christian Friends of Magen David Adom branches. One is in the UK and the other is in the Philippines. But we are the headquarters here in Israel, in Jerusalem.
And do they help to raise finance for the work here?
Well, what they do is they use Magen David Adom as a platform to build bridges between Jews and Christians first. So they have events where people come and they talk about different things happening in Israel, and they might fundraise jointly or separately. Yes, so that's what they do. Mm-hmm.
And what sort of equipment do you have fundraising for?
Well, there's emergency vehicles like ambulances and motorcycles. Motorcycles are really actually what we need most now, even more than ambulances, because first responders use the motorcycles to get to a destination, whether it's a terror event or a traffic accident or whoever needs medical attention, in a matter of a few short minutes before the ambulance arrives. Okay, so we've got the ambulances, the motorcycles, and then we need medical supplies, and now we have shelters for $50,000 for those people that don't have bomb shelters, and we are expecting a multi-front war, so we need all of these things, and we need blood. So when you come to Israel, you can donate blood, and we supply the IDF with 100% of their blood supply.
Is it expensive for an ambulance or for a medic cycle?
Is it expensive? Well, we try not to make it expensive. Look, there's just the body of the ambulance, and then there's the supplies inside of it. So we have a defibrillator, and we have all sorts of different medicines on hand, and stretchers for the body, and there's all sorts of bells and whistles that go along. But we try to make it just at cost. Yes.
Does the government support the ambulance service here?
Okay, so the government supports it as far as it pays for services that we provide. But Magen David Adom is predominantly funded by donations. So it is a non-for-profit. 85% of its income comes from donations from outside or inside Israel. And the rest is supplied in kind, for land that perhaps NDA might need for a new office or facility is provided by the government, but not monies necessarily, yes.
So the ambulance service here is a really, really vital, important service, isn't it?
Vital indeed. It saves lives. And also when there is war, then MDA has a duty to be the non-armed rescue service of the soldiers at the borders and everywhere in Israel. So it's vital. Also, it provides, of course, paramedic care for everybody in the country and visitors as well.
Now, I imagine ambulance staff have some horrific scenes. Are you there to help counsel them if they need it?
Well, we do provide a connection to counseling through hospitals. We specialize in, especially in post-traumatic stress disorder, which, I laugh and say, well, I think practically all of Israel has post-traumatic stress disorder because we've had so many conflicts, and it's just very difficult on a day-to-day basis to get through the day and to pay your bills and to just get through on a daily basis here. So yes, we do have services for people that need trauma counseling.
Is the ambulance service Muslims, Christians, and Jews working together?
Yes, and it's really wonderful to see the camaraderie and brotherhood expressed between these groups. There's just absolutely no boundaries and borders between them. And I've witnessed many a blood drive where Christians and Muslims and Jews all give blood together at the same time. They respond together in an ambulance. There's the driver, there's the paramedic. All the volunteers are a combination of Christian, Jews, and Muslims.
What regions do you work in?
Well, within the boundaries of Israel proper, Magen David Adom circulates. The Red Crescent, they take over at the borders and going to the Palestinian Authorities regions. Okay, and we do exchanges, but we're not seen as Magen David Adom during that time. But we cooperate with the Red Crescent, yes, in some areas.
Now, can people volunteer, and what do volunteers do?
Okay, so people can volunteer. We've got volunteer programs that range from just basic CPR training, first aid training, to, multiple casualty training. And this lasts for about 2 months, and you can sign up through the Overseas Volunteer Program, and you go to the MDA website. But we at CFMDA, we would like to actually design our own program for Christian volunteers, especially Christian volunteers from the eastern regions, from the Far East, because there seems to be a lot of goodwill to do this, and a lot of people from the Far East want to come, roll up their sleeves, and have some training. Some of them are medical students, and this is the best sort of practical way that Christians can help Israel.
Are you wanting to see more Christian Friends of Israel bases around the world, other countries starting up bases to help Israel here?
Well, we're going to move slowly in that area. I mean, we are the headquarters here. Certainly, we want to go into Far East regions and set up offices there. So, yes, in a sense we do, but we're going to take it slowly. Yeah.
Now, you're Magen David Adom, which gives the impression that you're Jewish, but would you attend the scene of a Palestinian car crash and help out there?
Yes, we try to respond immediately to any situation that we meet, and we have taken Palestinian wounded victims of whatever attack or car accident, whatever happened, to the hospital. No problem. We do not discriminate with ethnicity or religious reasons.
Are you making a difference here?
We are making a difference, I think, on many levels. One level is, of course, relationship between Magen David Adom and people that come to visit. And they see that they have an opportunity to actually make a difference on the most practical, fundamental, foundational way. They can perhaps even go back home and fundraise and put their names on the side of an ambulance, and then we here in Israel see as a testimony the demonstration of love from the visitors that come to us. So yes, in that regard, we're making a difference. We're making, but the biggest obvious difference is we're saving lives. And we've had a lot of practice at it. And so we're very good. And we also have developed medical technologies that are, world class. And we like to engage in exchanges of technologies in different countries.
Now, you're from Canada. How did you actually end up here in Israel?
Well, I could say to you, I was born in Canada, but I was made in Israel. How did I end up here? Well, my parents brought us in the early 70s, actually, as a young family, and they were amongst a few other couples. They were Christian pioneers. One of their works was opening up the Christian embassy when all the embassies pulled out of Jerusalem and not recognized Jerusalem as the capital. They said we should open up an embassy. They also were the pioneers of the Christian celebration of the Feast of Tabernacles. And also, they were pioneers of, let's say, Hebraic gospel. So songs like Awake, O Israel, Jehovah Jireh, that went all over the world in many different languages. So they brought us as a family here because they had a heart for Israel, to comfort her and to bring peace through music and encouragement through music. And so they were sort of ambassadors of types. And I grew up, went to school at the Anglican school, and it was the only school at the time where we had Muslims and Christians and Jews and Mormons and everybody together. So we didn't learn prejudice, racist, nothing, until we left school and saw what a disaster it was out there, you know. But I returned. I found Israel all the time calling me. I felt that Jerusalem especially was deep in my heart, was my home, my spiritual home, my physical home. So this is what I've made it. And so now I'm the director of Christian Friends of Magen David Adom.
How can Christians help, and how can they pray for the nation of Israel?
Well, thank you. Yeah. So Christians can help by purchasing emergency vehicles and also sending monies to support us for medical supplies, especially right now because we are at a threat of war again. And it's a multi-front war, and it's very, very much more dangerous than any war we've ever encountered. This is what the sources are saying with a multi-front war. You know. So how they can help is they can help us purchase emergency vehicles, and they can come here and donate blood, because we do need blood, and we supply 100%, of the blood to the IDF. And they can pray. They can pray for the spirit of wisdom to emerge more prominently in Israel, and especially in its government leaders, and not to be afraid, to pray against the spirit of fear, to pray for discernment. And, so the leaders, the people of Israel, and also the ingathering, because there's more and more people coming here, and we need more of a population. We are surrounded by enemies, and we are outnumbered. So I think in the days to come, prophecy says that Israel will expand its borders, and we will have more and more people here. And so right now, we need to grow as a nation.
And what's your website for people who'd like to know more?
So our website is www.cfmda.com.
Okay, Elana, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. God bless.